Good to go.
All right, we'll call November 12th Highway Committee meeting to order at 8:30. Roll call, we have everyone here. Approval of minutes for the October 8th. Get a motion?
Motion approved minutes.
There a second?
I'll second it.
Motion been made second. Any additions or corrections? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Nothing from me. Honda, Austin. Honda, Austin.
Turn it over to Brent to go over the shop operation or the field operation.
Well, currently, I would say we got all the salt sand made. The rental loader that we had, we took that back yesterday. We got everything hauled out to all our outlying shops and all the towns. All that is done. Pretty much all the trucks are ready for plow season. We've been out shouldering, patching. We are still spray patching. Our 2 spray patch trucks, we're gonna try to run them as long as we can this winter. We have started to get winter oil as of today. We can get that from St. Croix. Miggs is Dunn selling oil over in Chippewa, Eau Claire area. So we run with our trucks over to St. Croix and fill up like probably every, I don't know, probably once a week. I suppose we got to do it.
So with the winter oil, does it?
Winter oil,
Stay in the ground.
it's a little more money, but it's just, it flows through the trucks a
Yeah.
lot easier, a lot better.
Yeah.
Handles the cold weather better.
Right.
So, St. Croix, they spray patch all winter long as the weather is decent. So we're going to try to go as long as we can. Usually we shut down same time, like right around now, right around November is usually when we shut down. So yeah, we've got crews out. We did a lot of shouldering in the spring, and there are some shoulders that are bad right now. We're out there. Guys are out to their online shops. We're doing maintenance on our roads because, we had a lot of projects this year. So maintenance was kind of held up for a while because we were busy doing those.
Mm-hmm.
So they're out there with their trucks, augering off, blading, filling washouts, filling shoulders up. I don't like doing it in the fall because, we want it to freeze up and not blow it back in the ditch. We're also out. There's been some down trees from storms throughout the summer that we had pushed off. We're cleaning those up as we speak. Also, we're gonna start on some bridge maintenance on our bridges. We have inspections that they went through and did all that this summer on the state and the county. Little bit of mowing left. If we don't get any snow, I've talked to Dustin. We'll have to discuss it a little bit. We want to keep working on our bridge maintenance stuff, but there are some beats that are routes that are growing up with brush. If we can get out with a skid steer, we'd like to do it. I know we have other stuff we want to work on too, but it's a good time to do it if we can, if it works with our budget. And we've also helped Pepin out a little bit. We've got our crash trailer and truck down there, helping them out with a guy today. So we have one guy down in Pepin, and we've helped them with sending them trucks, helping them pave a couple times this year.
Are they
Other-
doing the trucks down there then, or?
I think they're short on guys.
Oh,
They are short on guys. Sometimes they don't have enough guys to throw in the trucks they have. Like I said, we're very lucky around here, I would say, compared to some of the surrounding counties. But guys are out getting their maintenance done on their roads, cleaning up trees, shouldering, patching, bridge maintenance, inventory. I'm sure Dan will probably get into that too. We've been doing reviews on the guys, our quarterly reviews, and that is complete. We just gotta get the rest of that in the computer today. So, but yeah, that's all I have. Any questions? Oh, we also did clean up about it, a bunch of equipment, washed it and hauled it down to storage, down to the old shop, down by the fairgrounds. So that stuff is pretty much all hauled down there except for equipment that we have to work on.
So when you guys go and help out another county, is that like a trade off? You work with them, like if you need a hand someday?
No, they pay for,
Oh, they gotta pay. Okay.
Yep.
Just- Yeah, I don't really care.
charge time.
I'm just curious how the process works.
Yeah, like, you know, and they're on the state, so actually it'll get charged to a state job because that's what he's on today.
Yeah,
We've been doing more and more of that just because obviously we all can purchase all the
right.
fancy
No
equipment.
doubt.
So
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense to
we
do it.
utilize each other's
Plus
resources.
you can take a little unexpected nickel and
Yeah.
dime here and there. Doesn't hurt to put back in the coffers if you got the equipment and
They don't
you have
have,
a good relationship where you work together with them. That's awesome.
they don't have near the state road, so you know,
Right.
the state has bought us
Yeah.
trash trailers, attenuators, and they don't have that.
Yeah, no, imagine. In today's world, I think it's like when you're working with surrounding groups like that, you know, and you have the crash trailer, then they can spend their money on something maybe we need to borrow and rent it from them and stuff, you know, and
Yep.
this makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
So other than that, any questions? Perfect. You got anything to add to that?
Nope.
Okay.
Dan, if you want to just kind of lead
Sure.
into the shop operations then.
Yep, routine maintenance, winterizing equipment. We do have all the state route trucks, completely equipment installed, and along with that, we finished up with the state for our winter readiness program, so that's all submitted. This week, we've kind of got the triaxles, in. And we did put the sanders on them along with the plow lift cylinder, so we had that much on them in case we had snow that they were talking about. Probably put the wings and wing posts on this next week, so they'll be completely ready to go. And Brent had mentioned that we started putting the equipment down in the old shop down there for winter storage. It's stuff that we can't, the bigger stuff we can. But, some of, we're gonna try to get under some lean tos and stuff, the best that we can. Busy changing tires. We got a lot of tires to change from all the summer use to get some good rubber on them for the winter snow. The new loader did arrive yesterday. It's in the shop if you guys would like to look at it, at the end of the day or whatever. It's nice we finally got it. And Brendan mentioned the salt sand is all done and that equipment has all been returned. Yeah, otherwise, we did do some interviews with the mechanic welder position. And we do have a couple really good prospects, so that's good. this time around. So I think hopefully we'll get that position filled. It's been a
Only
long-
took 3 rounds.
Yeah,
to find it.
right. It's been a long time.
If they're done,
It's
yeah.
not
Coming, yeah.
tough to find.
Mhm. Yeah, so, but we haven't finalized any of them, but it's nice to have a couple. That we're looking, we'll work on it, so. Yeah, other than that, I think, if you have any questions or anything, it's kind of getting geared up for the white stuff.
Can stay away.
And as you can see, there's the picture of the fancy loader. Very nice.
Yeah.
Like you put her to use.
Yeah. It'd be nice. We can get some loaders swapped around like we had planned,
Plan stuff.
and possibly sell one more. The loaders that the older ones get kind of old. Yeah.
heater and everything in there.
We are working on trying to, before the end of the year, trying to get a couple of our pickups and one plow truck. On Wisconsin surplus yet, a couple of these things. So hopefully we'll get that going here shortly.
Another thing I kind of mentioned to Dan about is, we have safety, setting signs and stuff like that throughout the year, setting up our lane closures and our flagging operations. I have talked to him about getting more distance meters in our trucks, like even for the flaggers. so we can make sure that our signs are set correctly. We'd like to get them in a lot of our flagging trucks too. You know, it's getting to be a real big deal. And we'd like to make sure that our flaggers have that, you know, the push button right in there, and we can go, and we at least got to set them at 500 feet. And in some areas, we got to set them further. You know, it's different for certain mile per hour roads and stuff like that. So I know Dan's got some on the shelf. We just want to make sure we get enough and make sure we're set up correctly so we can do the job correctly out there too. So
It's pretty important in case you have an accident, something, some fancy lawyer or something comes
No.
in.
obviously
You want to be correct.
we had that one this year and everything was set up correctly. So thank God with that everything was to the T.
Makes you think about it though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And God, what else? Yeah, other than that, I'd say we're good. Yeah, we are doing a little bit of guardrailing too yet. We always have guardrail to fix. People have accidents all the time.
I will say that
Oh,
it looks good up by Jake's.
and that was
Yes.
another thing,
Yes.
you know, I don't, as most of you know, I don't sit around at home at night. I get out and about a little bit on the weekends. I know a few people, but nothing but compliments from the public. They think our paving crews throughout the years have totally improved and our roads have gotten a lot better. They think that, I mean, they tell me, they're like, God, I think you guys have improved. Your product is better.
Mhm.
You know, I think our roads are pretty smooth.
No,
I said, well, they're definitely better than what they were before we started. No, they're like, we appreciate what you guys are doing. And I said, well, we are trying, but I said it, you know, other things fall by the wayside when we're doing that many road projects. But
people are noticing.
a lot of
People tell me
compliments.
Yes.
Yeah.
they're
A lot
happy.
of
people too, yeah.
So,
So just wanted you guys to know that there are a lot of compliments out there.
I guess one thing too, we are started looking at assaults over there at Boy Scout.
Yeah.
That's
I did see that.
Mhm.
So that's good.
And our guys did do all the guardrail work too. On D.
Mhm.
We have a lot of projects done this year.
Yeah, the weather held out pretty nice for
It was very nice.
projects.
And Monarch loved us this year. We did a lot of work out of the plant.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, so I guess that kind of leads into our project. So obviously there's the County Road D project.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dan.
We completed that, and then recently we did hire Monarch Paving to pave behind the curb and gutter in front of Jake's Supper Club there.
Yeah.
Due to the Jake's wanted to improve their parking lot portion, and obviously we can't go outside our road right away. We didn't have an easement to do so, so we kind of worked together to try to come up with a solution, and it looked really nice. I think they did that early last week.
Looks real good.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
So
It's sloped really, I mean, it's.
yeah, and then it worked out good because there was some slopes that we couldn't even, we would have to go outside the right of way to do it better. So yeah, it looked really nice. So yeah, that project's finalized. We did paint the curb on that one side, obviously on the across from Jake's and on the Pioneer side. We were having some issues with individuals not knowing where the entrances are coming in and out of these facilities. So we did try to help out with that a little bit. We are going to monitor it to see if there's any need for delineator posts. The only problem with those is they're going to get run over or hit with snow plows and
The curb definitely need to be painted. I
Yeah.
think that, I mean, because yeah, I mean, I would even pull up there, I'm like, okay, where's the entrance? So curb painted helped a lot.
I know it's a little difficult when you come out of the parking lots towards the road. You still
Yeah.
can't really see that paint.
Yeah.
So that's why we're going to monitor it, see what happens when people get used to it.
Yeah.
And see what happens. So, but all in all, like I said, turned out really well. we pushed the guys to get the project done in basically, what it'll be about a month and a half,
It went really well.
maybe just under 2 months to get that project completed and turned out really good. I know we did have, we've had already some phone calls with concerns of speeds already on the road, in particular north of the Taylor Town Hall now. So we're gonna look at that to see if we can help lower that speed potentially, or we're just gonna have to have the sheriff's department kind of monitor that, so.
He was sitting there too.
But then the County Road V Sand Creek Bridge project, so that's a project that is getting replaced in 2027. So we did have the public information meeting on November 5th. There was approximately, I would say, about a dozen people that showed up. Typically on the town board and local officials in that area kind of showed up.
So which,
no.
bridge is that? I'm kind of,
So it's the one right by the gas station,
okay, right in town.
between the two curves.
Okay,
Yeah, yep. So yeah, that's, once that's obviously gonna get, scheduled here, we're anticipating sometime between May and September of 27. We're looking at probably a, replacement of that, so it'll probably be shut down for, I would say, 2 months at a minimum. The detour is quite long. It would go all the way to Ridgeland, down to 25 to 64. But we know that, there's probably gonna be some local roads utilized. Which I explained to the town, they have the ability to post their bridges or roadways, to try to deter it. We can't police everything, so. The Hay River Bridge on County Road D, which we call the High Bridge, it's up by Elk Point up there. So that public information meeting was actually rescheduled for December 1st. It was originally supposed to be November 18th, but we had to push it back due to the, we forgot to post it in the paper. So there was kind of a miscommunication between the engineers and WISDOT and myself. So we pushed it back basically 2 weeks so we can post it in the paper for satisfying the public posting information. So that'll be at the Taylor Town Hall on December 1st. So if you want to attend, more than welcome. I do believe there might be a little bit of questions due to some of the central concerns with the intersections that are approaching that bridge. So, just to give you an update on the Cedar Falls Bridge. So we did submit the application to the DOT for consideration for possible funding in the 2026 to 2031 program to replace that bridge. The estimated cost, I did put that in your packet, what was in the application. It's in your packet that I have on this morning that I handed out to you, but it is on the very high end of the project program cap. So when we said $10 million, it's right around that $10 million to replace that bridge. It's a very, very difficult process. When talking to the design engineers that put the application together, there is going to be some hurdles, in particular due to the upstream dam. That's going to pose some concern. They actually do own Excel owns a piece of property that basically goes right through the bridge. That we are probably going to have to purchase real estate, and I know it's going to take time. So, fortunately, it drives the cost up for all that stuff. So like I said, we are anticipating on that high end of the program cap, and actually potentially slightly over that program cap. So we also did put some contingency inflation costs into it, not knowing what costs are going to be 5 years from now. So we added approximately about 20 to 25% additional cost onto it. So that's why the cost is a little bit higher than what we kind of originally thought. So more to come on that. We'll know, I believe by March of 26 is when we should hear and finalize the list from the DOT of what projects get approved. The Boyceville Salt Shed, as of, I believe it was Monday, they did set the concrete bunker panels. As you can see, we did the foundation prep for it. So we dug the footings in for those concrete columns. Those are embedded in the ground about 4 feet. They're in the ground 4 feet and they stick out of the ground 4 feet. And the way the steel members of the hoop get anchored to those foundations, and then they arch over the top of those bunker panels. So the contractor is coming in Monday of next week to fully assemble the structure itself. So
What company's doing that?
Greystone Construction, they're out of Minnesota.
We're gonna blacktop that, right?
No, so we're gonna hold off on the paving of that until next year due to the weather. We are gonna put together a cost of possibly putting concrete instead of asphalt inside of it and just see what the cost difference is. Obviously, DOT is paying for it, but we'd obviously have to run everything by them for any changes, because originally it's just gonna be asphalt in there, which is gonna be difficult because we are putting an end section on that with a door. Which
Yeah, that's what I was wondering why we didn't blacktop it first. That's why my question.
the paving operations are gonna be difficult. So the way those panels are, you're supposed to pave over the top of them for structural support, so they don't get pushed out. So yeah, that's the reason why you can't really pave them before. So it's gonna be difficult, so that's why we're looking at the possibility of maybe putting concrete in there, just for not having a big old paver trying to maneuver in and out of there, because it's tight corners, let's just say that.
Is that located? Oh, go ahead.
Does the cement stay in good enough shape? Because I know on my, like bunker silo, I got cement in that, with the salt in there and that, it just eats it right up. But blacktop tends to last longer.
Yeah, I would say both of them don't fare too well when salt sits on it continually. Even in our old galley salt shed that we paved, was that 2 years ago or 3 years ago? You can already see the fines of the asphalt starting to come out.
Yeah.
So there is no perfect solution. Obviously concrete, you can put some additives in it to help deter some of the fluorides going into the concrete. So yeah, that's something, like I said, we're gonna look into. It's not to say it's gonna be guaranteed that we're gonna put concrete in there, but we've had staff already trying to figure out how they're gonna pave it. There's gonna be some handwork if we go down that path, but it can be done. It's just not ideal, but it can be. The structure's under 20, so staff are finalizing those. Those structures have to be submitted to the state by the end of the year here. So I think we have approximately, I believe Brittany was telling me about maybe a dozen structures yet to inventory and inspect in the county. And we're only doing our county roadways. The towns are actually, a consultant was hired by the state to do the town structures that range from 6 to 20. So overall, we've fared pretty well. We've inspected these structures in the past, so they were nothing new to us. But obviously there is a few that Brittany and I have talked about that we should start looking at the possibility of investing some funding to replace some of these. And obviously the DOT has expressed the possibility of adding some funds to the LRIP program to maybe replace some of these structures. County structures aren't as bad as the town structures. There's a lot of town structures that the towns have never even looked at. And there's some that definitely should be either posted or restricted from larger weighted vehicles and then possibly replaced in the very near future. But yeah, like I said, we're finalizing that as we speak. And that's kind of the picture of the salt shed. That's kind of the
Is this located
plan.
in Boyceville, on the way into Boyceville on
Yeah, right on 79.
the left-hand
Pretty far
side
from the
where
gas
some of their they had other stuff out there. It looked like
Yep.
roadway materials and stuff like that.
Yep. That's our shop.
Okay. I thought it was, but
Yeah, so it's going to be a 53 by 64 foot facility that will house approximately 1,000 tons of salt. And it is funded by the DOT. So that's the engineering project updates. Any questions with that before we move on? I'll go into the general transportation aid. So I mentioned to you from previous that there was an error in our calculation for our GTA. I will applaud Dan for noticing that. So we did look into it, and we're learning more and more about this GTA calculation. So I requested from the DOT what's all included with that calculation. So as you can see, it's not only just highway costs. It's emergency management, the sheriff's department, their actual budget goes towards our GTA for road infrastructure. It's a percentage base, so it's not 100%. Typically, as you can see, 40%. But all highway stuff is 100%. The error that happened is we obviously have the two funds now. So we have the enterprise fund and we have the road and bridge fund. So that's what caused the error. There was a duplicate of, as you can see, this yellow line. There's county construction and there's county construction. So that got duplicated. So it was basically $21 million when it shouldn't have been, should have only been about 11. So that was just on a wrong line item in our Form A that gets submitted to the Department of Revenue. So we met with the auditor and made that change and resubmitted that. So we're expecting a different calculation. Obviously, the original calculation that I had submitted to you guys was incorrect. We are anticipating a slight increase from what was done from previous years. It's right around that 1.7 million. So we're envisioning right around that same calculation for 2026 GTA. But yeah, like I said, we're diving more and more into it. And we just I wanted to present this to you that it's not only highway costs that are calculated in our GTA. So that's really good information. And we found some other things too that when it comes to our financial accounting practices, we're gonna obviously have to hone that in, because what comes out of SAP and our new BSA software reflects this. So we'll be doing a in-depth financial practice going forward when it comes to that.
Can I add a little bit? I think for all of you from that perspective, as we're putting together plans for the new ERP, we're working with a consultant who is the CFO at Chippewa County, recently retired. And we had a meeting here for 4 hours, kind of going over all of that, because every single expense that we make has to go in. If you remember I'm sure everybody was intently watching my budget presentation last month. Those graphs of those areas of work, like public service and highway and different things like that, those are the parts that the state requires us to kind of track those categories of work. So we can call it by departments, but they're clumping some of that work into different areas, and we need to code every single transaction appropriately to be able to do that. So we talk a lot about like miscellaneous expense. Well, if you have a $200,000 miscellaneous expense in the sheriff's department, that doesn't count as sheriff's department work. That's a miscellaneous expense. If you bought body armor that's a sheriff's department expense that counts towards that money. So it's really important that we have all of those categories and we categorize things correctly. So we're not spending hours.
I mean,
going through it.
you can kind of just look at this line item that says other general.
Yeah.
That
2
doesn't,
million.
that doesn't tell us anything.
No,
Like,
just that,
was
2
that,
million.
was that, should that have been in our maintenance? Because $801,000 is not correct. We believe, obviously, that number should have been included in there. So that's where it's important to kind of obviously track those accordingly. So yeah, like I said, it's, we're learning, obviously, all of us are kind of new to this role and we're learning as we go and gonna make those changes necessary, so. Going into the LRIP program, so the West Central District Commissioners, we met on October 27th to distribute the allocated funds, the LRIP funds. As you can see, there's three buckets basically in that program. So we call it the CHI, the County Highway Improvement, and the CHI-D and the CHI-S, which is discretionary and supplemental. These graphs down here is the statewide allocations. So the yellows goes to the counties, the oranges go to the towns, and the greens goes to the municipalities. So the orange and the green, the towns and the municipalities, they have to apply for those funds. We have to apply for it too, but it's kind of, we have allocated funds that are distributed based on our commissioner in each county. So of that $16 million roughly in the CHI program, 1.9 of it was allocated to the West Central District, which is comprised of 11 counties. It's basically everything around this area. I don't want to go in depth of which ones they are, but so basically we've had a formula that is percentage based for many, many years on how the funds get allocated to each county. So we take that 1.9 and distribute it accordingly. So as of that, Dunn County was awarded $214,000 for the CHI, which is just the county highway improvement. So we have that amount of money to utilize for a project, which we utilize typically for asphalt materials, for the purchase of hot mix materials. So obviously we have enough projects that we're doing that we can offset some of the cost just in the asphalt materials. So to get the $214,000, we have to have double the cost of the asphalt cost, if that makes sense. So it's a 50-50 split potentially. Doesn't always work that way. Obviously, we could have $600,000 worth of asphalt materials, but we were only going to get 200,000. So we try to get as close to that 50-50 as we can. As you can see, the CHI-D, we were awarded $157,866.99, and then the CHI-S just $465,000 we were allocated to that. So to put that CHI-S into one project is very, very difficult because you almost need to have about $900,000 worth of asphalt materials, which is a very large project. You're looking at probably a 6 to 7 mile project just to get that amount of material. So we've allocated to 3 projects, possibly 4, just with that CHI-S to distribute that fund. So we have the next 5 years to utilize those appropriations for those projects. So it does not have to be used next year. What we would be looking at typically is we would allocate those funds for like 27 and 28 projects. Is what we typically do.
Can some of those projects go from year to year? I mean, if you have like a 10 mile, but only do 5 this year, 5 next year, or it's gotta be all at the same time?
No, you can split it. Yep, you can split it that way. Yep. So, like I said, it's something. What is that? Approximately almost $1 million that we're getting, that we can put forth towards projects. Just go through the PACER ratings. So PACER ratings are the DOT's rankings of how well our roads are on a scale of 1 to 10. So biannually, that has to be completed and documented to the DOT through the Whistler program, if some of you are familiar with that. So we completed that in-house with our staff. So as you can see, just a comparison of when it was done the last time in 2023 versus in 2025. I would consider it a slight improvement, not by much, like maybe 1%. It's not a whole lot, but what you can see is obviously the 5 to 6s is kind of your median. So some of our roads got worse, some of our roads improved over the last 2 years. And obviously that's going to happen. What we are allocating in our budget for repaving roads are basically those 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. The 5, 6, 7, 8, we're looking at maybe putting chip seals on, maybe a thin overlay or something like that where we can get it up to those 8s, 9s, and 10s to help prolong some of that. So as you can see, I just wanted to present that to you. So this includes the projects that we completed in 2025. So that data for the roughly, what did we do? 16 miles of roads this year. Obviously saw an increase in those 9s and 10s. So, but any questions with that? And there's just the map condition. It's hard to see, but tells you where our bad roads are. The ones that are colored in red are probably what I would say is the worst. So just to see again, it shows I-94 in red. So that's,
Yeah,
we
I was
don't,
wondering.
we don't rate that. But that's just how the math shows. Then going into the highway financials, as you can see, our CIP, that's something I was compiling an email to Dan and finance staff, but obviously we're currently showing a budget deficit. But obviously we don't have the allocated funds, that $1.5 million to put towards it. So that's where we have to have that discussion of when does that happen and how does that process work? So that's the purchase of obviously of our equipment. With that CIP, with the internal service fund, that's what we call our 7100 fund. We're projecting a budget surplus in that. But I do want to reiterate, obviously we are going through some of our financials when we're talking to Lori, that consultant that the county has hired. Some of our costs that we have in our 2600, our road and bridge fund, in particular, our labor and our materials and equipment are not necessarily reflected in this. So that's what Joy is currently working on. I think she's pretty much got that completed. But just be aware this could change. I want you to be aware of that. This projection of 1.7 may not be 1.7. We don't have all the costs in that. So going through our GTA calculations has kind of brought this to our attention. This is what it comes out of. Our GTA calculations come out of that 7100 as well as the 2600. But like I said, I just want you to be aware of that. Joy is currently working on that to try to get those allocated costs into this. So more to come on that. And then our road and bridge fund, we're projecting budget surplus just because we took that County Road C project out of that project currently. And any questions? Then there's our CHEMS report. which is a lot to take in. Tried to separate it there with kind of the line items with the maintenance costs and then our bridge costs and then our project costs there in the bottom. And as you can see, some of that stuff where it shows the budget as zero, it's kind of just rolled up into other funds. In particular, like I say, the bridge stuff in particular. So you see a negative, it's actually included in the various bridge and maintenance costs budget. That all makes sense? There's mud.
Yep.
Man,
There's mud.
Well, makes sense if you don't think about it.
It all makes sense when we don't think about it, right? Yeah. And like I said, I'll obviously always mention winter maintenance costs. Obviously, we had budgeted 1.5. We've only spent. So I would envision that's going to be a number that's going to remain quite large with the remaining. I don't foresee November having a whole lot of cost for winter maintenance, and never know.
Why?
I'm just looking along at the next 10-day forecast. It seems pretty good. Let's just say that.
Things change.
I'm with you. Glasses half full.
But December could be, we could be.
I just leave the sleeping dog by is what I do.
There's a new season coming, you want a little bit of.
I was gonna say, we might be tracking snow for gun season, just half an inch.
No, we don't.
Unless you like plow over.
It's much harder to lean against the tree and take a nap. It's snow on the ground.
Yeah, that's true. Other than that, that concludes my long-winded portion of the program.
Those are very long.
no, it wasn't too bad.
We'll let you have a donut for performance today.
All right.
Long ones.
I have no idea why it went black.
Oh, yeah, his report tonight. Yeah. You're gonna keep that short and sweet. Don't you?
Yeah.
I plan on it. I plan on asking if you have any questions and
Read it. Read it. You don't have to point out every slide. Thanks for the report. Any other questions on the report? Nothing. Good. Today, action, highway vouchers.
Make a motion to accept the voucher.
Second.
Any questions?
Do you ever see anything in the vouchers that kind of, like you want that in there for, or?
No, because I'm usually the one that approves them before they get there, so I address everything before it gets
I'm
there.
just trying to look, to see if there's something I said, how'd that get in there?
No, because I've tackled it all beforehand.
Okay.
I think the big thing in the vouchers that we see in a lot of areas is the actual name of a company. It may not be what you think it is.
Right.
And so that kind of sets people off when you're, like,
Doing
how come-
business as
Hey,
thing.
yeah,
Okay.
so.
And I have tried to add notes in. If there's something that would bring a question to you guys, I'll go in and I'll add a note in the text column. So you
It is handy.
It is nice to have that
Yeah.
all on there. It's good. It really does. Make it flow. Motion's been made second. Any other discussions, any questions? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. 8, consideration of recommended nothing. Next meeting is December 10th. Same place, same time, 8 o'clock though. No previous meeting, no. All right, meeting's adjourned.